Ultra Instinct, the absolute ultimate technique, the pinnacle of martial arts. With Ultra Instinct being one of my favorite transformations, it was one of the many reasons why I wanted to make a video discussing this. But this isn't the main reason. The main reason I wanted to talk about this topic the most is that there are a lot of people who feel like Ultra Instinct is achievable in other versions. As crazy as it will sound, a lot of people actually believe that Ultra Instinct is a low-tier technique in other verses such as Marvel and DC. From the many arguments that I've seen, a lot of people believe that just moving instinctively or moving without conscious thought is Ultra Instinct, which isn't wrong by the way, but there is a lot more to it than that. But let's talk about DC. In DC, we have characters like Batman that have statements to be able to move without conscious thought. You have Tim Drake whose muscles moved involuntarily, completely on instinct alone, even though he lost all of his memories. Even in Marvel, you have characters like Captain America who state they had to stop thinking and let their bodies move on instinct. You have T'Challa who also moved instinctively without conscious thought, and so on and so forth. But even with all of that being said, this is still not the same as Ultra Instinct. Now, simply this is my own interpretation, but everything that has been referenced here just seems to be pre-programmed thought, aka muscle memory. Now in this panel, Wonder Woman explains it best. Despite Superman having the raw speed advantage, Wonder Woman says she could still beat him due to the fact that she doesn't have to think about her movements. I am a trained warrior, my reactions are in my muscle memory. What a lot of people don't understand is that our brains have a conscious and a subconscious. Involuntary movements like breathing, organ function, simple things like blinking are all controlled subconsciously. Our own brain pre-programming. According to neuroscience, muscle memory is developed through repetition. When a movement is practiced repeatedly, the brain creates neural pathways between the motor cortex and the muscles involved. To simplify this would mean that all operations, even subconsciously, will require brain activity to perform. This is how the DC and Marvel verse operate. The operations of subconscious movement is often or not referred to as wushin or no-mindedness, no mind, etc. It explains that no-mindedness is not a blank mind, but a mind that shuts out all thoughts and emotion. It is a state of wholeness in which the mind functions freely and easily without the sensation of a second mind or ego standing over it with a club. And this is exactly what they're doing. They're allowing their minds to behave and act on their own. And even the narrative backs this claim. And here it states that Daredevil is using an amateur move, one easily countered. A master martial artist like T'Challa is someone who probably went through extensive training and is already well equipped with dealing with this move. So equipped that he could now do these things as simple as breathing. Now, as impressive as all of this is something that Goku has already learned when training with Kami. Mr. Popo is teaching him the importance of using all of his instincts and senses while fighting, and that Goku must stay as calm as the sky and move faster than lightning. And to do this, he must empty his soul. Goku originally took this as him basically emptying his mind by not thinking, which is wrong and is immediately refuted by Popo. Not thinking of anything and clearing your soul is completely different. And I already know that people are going to say that the mind and soul are not the same, but you need to understand that the soul is a complex concept that houses the mind, emotion, and will. And by clearing your soul, you will then clear your mind, emotion, and will. And all of this ties right back to the no-mindedness, where Goku thought that having a blank mind was what was required, but that is not the same. But even if you still disagree with all of these things, it's stated in the super exciting guide that Goku has already learned the mind of nothingness, which Goku has learned from his training with Kami. And despite that, people are still going to disagree with this, even though that there is an entire episode of Goku walking around the city, he's constantly referring to using his senses and his instincts to try to find hit. And during this episode, Goku gets hit by Bulma's car, Bulma gets out to hit Goku, and Goku instinctively dodges Bulma. Now, this is something that is noted by Gohan and Goten, that Goku doesn't normally dodge Bulma's attacks. This would mean that Goku not only did not intend to dodge, but due to him being on guard, he dodged instinctively. But let's talk about the real reason that we're here. Why is Ultra Instinct inherently different from what's been shown thus far? Subconscious movement is not the only thing that Ultra Instinct brings to the table. As I said before, muscle movement is something that requires brain activity. It requires the nerve system to be active. Movement consciously and subconsciously requires operations of all of these systems. But Ultra Instinct does away with that completely and entirely. As stated by Whis in the anime, it takes time for your senses and your brain commands to reach throughout your body. This consistency is also present within the manga as well. Whis states that you lose precious time when you have sensations pass through your five senses to your brain and back to your body. Again, this consistency is present within the anime, as Whis says that messages can only travel so fast through your nervous system. Consciously and subconsciously, the usage of the network system slows you down. And what Ultra Instinct does is bring a complete separation of the mind and body. Yes, you heard me correctly. Ultra Instinct does not use any brain activity to act or function. The brain houses all subconscious movement, and it even houses your 5 senses. So this would mean that Ultra Instinct acts externally to not only your 5 senses, but your entire network system. So if Goku were to lose all of his 5 senses or even go brain dead, his body will still be able to move and react on its own. And this is backed by numerous guides, by the way. From the Tokyo Skill Tree of 2018, in the state, as the name selfishness suggests, every part of the body automatically makes decisions and takes the appropriate action depending on the situation, before the mind can even think about it. The individual does not even feel like they are moving. They expand even further by saying that various parts of the body automatically determine the situation to allow him to take the most appropriate actions before thinking. And again, I already know people are going to say this is going to be in reference to Goku's conscience. That is not the case at all. Granola, who comes from a species of people who have evolved eyes and can see blood flow and muscle movement, states verbatim that Goku's body moves on its own before his brain even processes the attacks. Your 5 senses are housed within the brain, so in order to utilize them, you must use your brain. And Whis telling Goku to literally shut off his mind so that his body can make decisions on its own proves my case. For those who believe that Ultra Instinct isn't its own fighting style, it's completely separate from Goku's mind, implying that it has its own form of operation, meaning UI has its own style. And on top of the blatantly obvious fighting style change, he gains new techniques once he uses Ultra Instinct. He gains his air manipulation technique on top of his astral projection or his giant form technique that's stated in guidebooks to also be derived from Ultra Instinct. And I also forgot to mention that once Goku uses Ultra Instinct, his blood flow and his movements of his cells change. And even guys that reference Ultra Instinct going through evolutions and adapting to Granola's sure hit effects. Sure hit effects are attacks you cannot dodge. And with the preponderance of evidence, I don't think that there is anything close in the DC or Marvel or any other verse that does anything remotely close to Ultra Instinct. And even if you believe your character could copy it, the closest they would get to it would be Master Roshi's variation. And even then, Master Roshi's variation was stated to be a far cry from the actual technique. To conclude, I want to say a last closing statements. Throughout all the evidence that I've seen for both DC, Marvel, and either other fictional verses, there are very clear resemblances to Ultra Instinct, but I don't think they're even close to what Ultra Instinct actually is. Most of the statements include these characters just getting faster, nothing about their fighting styles or their combat improving. On top of the verbatim statements of Ultra Instinct literally getting better and better and it being honed and getting naturally sturdier, or that people actually believe that Ultra Instinct could be copied even though Goku states verbatim that he had to master this technique only after honing his body to withstand it. It's also kind of funny that people even believe that you can copy Ultra Instinct when you literally have someone who tried to copy it and his body was swelling up from the power of Ultra Instinct, to the point that he literally had to merge with a planet so that his body wouldn't explode. In terms of just pure martial arts, I think Goku really has it in the bag. Even if you believe someone is the better fighter, he'll just adapt and evolve, and then he'll just overcome that gap. And with that being said, I want to thank you to everyone who tuned in and watched the whole video all the way through. If you disagree with anything that I say, be sure to just comment and then give your disagreements. I want to give a special thanks to my dog Abyss. He was a great help in the creation of this video. His knowledge and opinions were a key factor in the creation of this video. Shout out my boy Nat Nat. He provided more perspective on the information that Whis was giving. Definitely follow him on TikTok. They're cool people. Do not worry, I have other videos in the making. I apologize for this video for taking too long. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share this video to all your friends, and see you guys in the next video.